vibration, frequency. Vibration and frequency, you hear me? It's so important, you know? It's so important. It's so important, vibration and frequency is so important. Because if you can't, if you can't go within you and pull it up out you, you'll never understand those who can. Your chances is you'll never be able to recognize those that do. To be able to know what you're seeing when you see what you're seeing. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. You hear me? I say that because when it comes to love, happiness, peace, when it comes to joy, when it comes to a lot of those higher qualities, a lot of those higher energetic motions that we call emotions, you know, if you can't go within you and pull it up in and pull it up out you, you will never be able to recognize when we see it. And I'm saying that from self-experience, you know, as well as a collective experience, because I've been there before, you hear me? And to be able to do that, because when I used to see it, I used to wonder why people just happy also, you know, all the time, you know, for no reason at all. You hear me? Feeling good for no reason at all. And I ain't understand, because I wasn't in that place. I haven't arrived at that place within myself, you know. But once I did, you hear me? Once I did, I wouldn't turn back for nothing in the world, you hear me? And if you know what I'm talking about, and that resonate with you, I could pretty much bet my life that neither will you. You ain't willing to turn back neither, you hear me? And it take a whole lot of discipline to clean up. You gotta go in the messy places, you hear me? So to be able to experience the things that I just spoke on, you know, I had to go into the messy places in myself. You know, just like some of y'all who gonna come across this message, or some of or still might be some of us that come over here, and that's a good thing. You hear me? If it's some messiness, that's a good thing, cause you know, it lets you know what you gotta do. It lets you know the surgery that you still performing on yourself. You hear me? Because 9 times out of 10, those who ain't in that direction, ain't shooting toward that direction in their life, they ain't shooting toward that direction in themselves. You hear me? To clean up, you gotta go to messy places. You hear me? And it's gonna take discipline. And discipline, as I was marinating and contemplating and sifting through that word, and I meant to bring my other phone so I could pull it up and read the definition. But when I was just sifting through my own terminology, discipline, and concerning my own life and how and what did discipline mean to me, you know, and it showed me that discipline is learning how to not participate in things just because they're present. And when I was going through certain different times and phases that I was going through at certain times in my life, I realized that everywhere that I had to apply discipline in my life, it was concerning something that was easy accessible to me. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. Discipline is learning not to participate in things just because they're available. You hear me? To me and to you. And I say that because what need to be broke down in our lives, so we could be rebuilt in our life, you know, gonna require discipline. Are you willing to do it? Whatever it may take, whatever it may be, whatever it may require you, are you willing to do it? And if you're willing to do it, my question is, are you gonna do it? Not tomorrow, next week, but start right now. Are you going to do it? Because ain't nobody to blame. It ain't nobody to save. Because ain't nobody coming, and since ain't nobody coming to save me or you, then we're going to have to save ourselves, you hear me? And discipline going to be our skeleton key. I don't care what master teacher, what ascended master, or what religion, you know, we may practice or not practice, or whether we, or at all. But discipline going to be required. We have to use discipline in every aspect of our life, whether we know it or not. You gotta have discipline to get up, to go to work. You gotta even have discipline to get up. You hear me? Out the bed. Period. Discipline is the skeleton key, and to be the best you're gonna be will require discipline, mental discipline, emotional discipline, and physical discipline, as well as spiritual discipline, because we spiritual beings, whether we acknowledge ourselves as that or not. You hear me? But in consequence to that, we ain't all here to do the same things, as we know. But we all here but all of us who here will go through what we gotta go through, so we can do whatever it is we're here to do, whether positive, negative, or somewhere in the middle. You hear me? And that ain't supposed to mean the same thing to everybody, you know. But it's meant to show you. But it is meant to show you what it's gonna mean to you. And that deals with perception. Perception determines the experience. Perception determines the experience. And a lot of times perception is the very thing that we need to shift, adjust, loosen, and sometimes tighten. You hear me? And sometimes tighten. Where needed, where applied, where it may apply. We don't all perceive things the same way, to the extent that we can all experience the same thing the same way. Meaning we can all see an event happen, or we can all experience the event that's happening all at the same time. And however many people on the planet, that's how many different perceptions going to be concerning the thing or the experience that just occurred, or whatever we just witnessed, or whatever we all just felt according to what was experienced. You hear me? Perception. You hear me? So we're going to have to be locked in with ourselves, you know. And our perception determine. Perception is such a powerful word because it's so dimensional, you know, and we don't use the same level of perception for the same thing, and that's the proof of the many layers, or the many dimensions, you know, or the many portals that perception has the ability of taking us through, or keeping us out, according to your level of perception. But when we're growing, everybody won't be going. Not where I'm going, and neither you. But when you're growing, everybody won't be going where you're growing, because they're not where you going, because they're not growing like you're growing. Now that could be good, bad, or indifferent, but it just depends on who's judging. I'm not judging, you know. I'm just pointing some things out so we know how to recognize, you know, what's being pointed out to us. Most times through the experiences as well as the interactions that we be having, not only with ourselves, but when we come into contact with others. You hear me? Because it's easy to get drowned out your own inner voice, you know, depending on how dependent we may or may not be under the influence when coming into contact with other beings. You hear me? So perception is very important, your own. And I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be in those places. And I say that because I heard it said that that we not here. I ain't gonna call no names out. I ain't gonna get nobody I'm gonna just make a lesson out of the stupidity that I heard. But I heard somebody say that we not here to reprogram a program. And I truly disagree with that, because any of us who are birthed under a household has been programmed under the program that they was programmed under. Any of us who have children, we probably have some, to some extent or other, program our children according to the programs that we were programmed by. And that's been done for so many generations. You see, over the ages, over the eons, however long we've been populating this planet, you hear me, which been from the beginning. But it's important to know what promotes your growth and what don't. It's important to know who supports your growth and who don't. You hear me? Because a lot of times I've been dealing with a lot of people, you know, and I understand the people that I'm about to make reference to, because I've been that person before too. See, nothing I say I've been excluded from. I'm just able to talk about. I'm just able to talk about the lessons that I mastered by being included with what I talk about. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. But it's important to know what promotes your growth and what supports your growth and what don't, because otherwise we'll find ourselves holding on to the very things that's holding us down when we're trying to get ahead. You hear me? So don't hold on to anything that don't celebrate you how you celebrate yourself. I don't care who it may be. You hear me? This the time. We in the day and time where it got to be dealt with just like that. You hear me? And in order to deal with things just like that, we got to deal with ourselves a little better. You hear me? Self-love. See, so many people don't confuse the word love with a feeling, and miss the whole vibration of it. You hear me? And I say that because when you love yourself, when you love yourself, man, love gonna make you not tolerate certain things. You know, not only from others, but more so from yourself. You hear me? When you love yourself, love gonna make you not do certain things, not only concerning yourself, but concerning others. See, that's how far away love is as a frequency from love as a feeling. You know, that most people mistake it as, and usually in a lustful manner or some sort of otherworldly manner. You hear me? But I know what that's like too. I know what it's like to be used to what you're used to, because that's all you've been used to. So you don't know how to get used to nothing else until you do something else, or you experience something else, or you experience somebody different than what you're used to, so they can perhaps allow you, through the experience with them, to allow you to experience something else. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. You hear me? I gotta keep up with what's going on. But until you do something different, you hear me? Until you do something different, something you ain't used to, something better in the process, to become something better in the process, you hear me? It's a whole other world going on, within many worlds going on at the same time, you hear me? But being used to it don't mean that it's always good. And because you came from it, don't mean that it's always good. It don't mean that it's always bad, but in most cases it don't mean that it's always good, because otherwise toxicity, otherwise karmic, you know, and all the other phrases that's trending and popular right now wouldn't be trending and popular. You know, if some correction wasn't necessary. You hear me? To be better than you never been. You gotta do something. You gotta do something that ain't never been done. You know, Not in the world, but in yourself, in ourselves. We got to do something better than those we came through. We got to do something better than those we came up around. And I ain't talking about outwardly. I'm speaking of inwardly. You see, the inner there is no competition unless we competing with ourselves. You hear me? It's how better can we be as a person? How better can we be as a personality? How better can we be as a spirit? How better can we be as a soul within this human being? You hear me? Carrying the spirit being inside of. How better can we be? That's the question. You know, that's the question. And every day we get an opportunity to interact with those that reflect us. I'm gonna say that again. Every day we get an opportunity. We get many opportunities out of all the opportunities, you know, to come into contact with those who reflect us. Now, is everything reflecting you that you come into contact with? And that's why we have to be on top of our game. Because in a lot of cases, in most cases, we have to work around people that, you know, we wouldn't have nothing to do with if we didn't work with them. You hear me? You know, and I was just having a conversation a little bit ago. We even been born into families where if we weren't born into the family we were born into, you know, we would have chose different. And if we had the power to choose, you know, which we did, we just don't remember. But if we had the power to choose the family we was gonna be born into, we would have chose different. You don't listen, you're gonna miss it. But y'all know I'm telling the truth, those who caught it. You hear me? But they are the reflections. And every day we get to decide, you know, what's gonna be, whether we're gonna be the reflection or we're gonna be the image. That wasn't a good word. Whether we're gonna be the reflection or we're gonna be the thing that's casting the reflection. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. It ain't words for everything that's coming to me right now. At least in the way that I want to say it. But how are we personalizing our reality? Gonna require discipline. Mind creates reality through humanity. So we all doing this at the same time, you know, and with all the thoughts being sent through the universe at the same time, it can have things clashing. It can have things feel like it being pulled against or tugged on or pushed forward, you know. Energy, back to frequency, back to vibration. You hear me? So we gotta be on point when it comes to being in touch with ourselves. When we moving through the realities of different people, you see, creating their reality through their mind as we creating our reality through ours. You heard? Mind creates reality through humans, and as creators, we gotta be who we say we are. You hear me? We gotta be who we say we are, because there's a lot of glitching going on. Don't get caught glitching. You heard? I just said that to say, family, you hold the whole world in your mind. It takes discipline to heal humanity within you. We hold the whole world in our mind, but it takes discipline to heal humanity in you. You hear me? And for those of us who doing that, you know, we loud and clear. We loud and clear in vibration and frequency, you know, and application to those that are not. So I encourage us to keep doing what we're doing, you know, to expand, to ascend, to integrate, you know, into our spiritual self, because people paying attention. You hear me? People paying attention. you know. And for those who come across this video and haven't made up your mind, just make up your mind. It'll change your life. Apply yourself. But it's gonna take discipline. But it'll change your life. You hear me? Discipline changed my life. Self-discipline, matter of fact. And that's the love, family. I ain't come through to say much. We're gonna place a house, foundation, discipline. You know, discipline is to build a house, you gotta have a blueprint. So let discipline be the blueprint to build your house up, or to continue building your house up for those of us who are doing the self-improvement, shadow work, whatever you want to call it. Discipline. Because if you already know it takes discipline to be a better you. You heard? So we're going to put a house in the comment section for the end of this month's raffle. New subscribers, I see y'all. Salute. Welcome to the family. Cosmic Consciousness Soul Drive. Salute. Y'all know what to do. Otherwise, package peekaboos and passerbys. Y'all, salute. You hear me? Place a house in the comment section for the end of this month's raffle. You must be subscribed. And those that are, most know, watch the video, place the emoji, which is going to be a house tonight, in the comment section. As simple as that for the end of the month's raffle. Otherwise, feel good for no reason at all, because feeling good is your birthright. It's your divinity. You hear me? And nobody can do it for you. Otherwise, I love y'all, family. Before I get to rambling, my name is Sabu. Peace.